3 years ago, I sat across from a man at a small restaurant, and for the first 10 minutes of dinner, I genuinely did not believe he was telling me the truth. He told me he was worth $4 million. And I laughed. Not because I doubted his success. I laughed because of what he was wearing: plain sneakers, a $40 digital watch, a phone that looked 2 years overdue for a replacement. I've met people who make $60,000 a year and spend like they make $600,000. And here was a man worth millions, dressed like he was still in college. So I asked him the only question that made sense. If you have that much money, why does it look like you have none of it? His answer that night rearranged everything I thought I understood about wealth, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand it too, including the one thing he does with his money that I guarantee almost nobody watching this is doing right now. Stay with me, because that last part alone could change how much money you have 5 years from now. His name was Desmond. We went to college together, and back then, he was as broke as the rest of us. He worked 2 jobs just to cover rent, drove a car with a cracked windshield he never got around to fixing, and once borrowed $20 from me to split a pizza. We lost touch for almost 10 years. Then, out of nowhere, I got a text from him asking if I wanted to catch up over dinner. I expected to hear the usual updates: a house he was stressed about paying off, kids and school fees, maybe a promotion. Instead, he told me he had sold the company he built, and he was now sitting on several $1,000,000. I looked him over again. Same plain sneakers, same cheap watch, same beat-up phone. None of it added up, at least not in my head. So I asked him directly. He didn't get defensive. He just smiled and said, "Owen, I didn't get rich by spending like a rich person. I got rich by spending like nobody was watching. And I stayed rich by putting the money somewhere smarter than my closet." That single sentence became the reason for this video, because inside it are 2 separate lessons. First, what he refused to waste money on. Second, what he did with it instead. Most people online only ever tell you the first half. Tonight, Desmond gave me both. What he refused to waste money on looking rich. Desmond told me that the moment he had real money, the pressure to buy a fancy car was stronger than it had ever been before. Everyone expects it, he said. You get money and people wait for you to buy the watch, the car, the big house. It's like a performance you're suddenly supposed to put on. He never did it, because he understood something most people miss completely. Looking rich and being rich are actually opposites. Here's the math nobody explains. A $90,000 car loses about $20,000 in value the second you drive it off the lot. That's not a purchase. That's money disappearing in real time. The people who need to look rich are usually the ones who aren't, he told me. The people who already are rich don't need to prove anything to anyone. Real millionaires spend on things that grow. Fake rich people spend on things that shrink the moment they own them, upgrading their lifestyle every time their income goes up. I asked him the obvious question. When he started making more money, didn't his life get more expensive too? He shook his head immediately. That's the trap. That's exactly how people stay broke even after they get a raise. Most people get a pay increase, and within a month, their spending rises by almost the same amount. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more takeout. It feels like progress, but it's really just a treadmill. You're moving, but you're staying in the exact same financial spot. Desmond called it the invisible raise eater. Every time your income grows, your lifestyle quietly eats the difference before you even notice it's gone. When his business started making real profit, he stayed in the same two-bedroom apartment for 3 more years. Same furniture, same car. I let my bank account grow before I let my lifestyle grow, he said. That gap between what you earn and what you spend is where wealth actually gets built. Not in the amount you make, in the space you leave between earning and spending, impressing people they don't even like. At this point, Desmond turned the question back on me. Owen, be honest. How much of your spending is for you, and how much is for other people watching? I didn't have a fast answer, and that bothered me more than I wanted to admit. The bigger TV, the name brand clothes, the vacation photos. How much of that is because we actually want it, and how much is because we want someone else to see it? Desmond said most of his old friends who also made good money still struggled financially because they were stuck in a silent competition. Nobody ever said it out loud, but everyone was quietly trying to keep pace with everyone else. A bigger house, a better vacation, a newer phone. Nobody wins that game because there's always someone spending more than you. The day I stopped caring what my old classmates thought of my car, he said, I saved more money in 1 year than I had in the previous 5 combined. Small conveniences that quietly add up. This one felt smaller, but Desmond said it matters more than people realize. Food delivery instead of cooking. A subscription you forgot you were paying for. A coffee bought every single day without a second thought. None of these feel big on their own. That's exactly the problem. They're too small to notice, so nobody tracks them. Add them up over a year, and it's often thousands of dollars quietly gone, without giving you anything lasting in return. He wasn't saying never enjoy coffee or never order food. He was saying rich people ask one simple question before small purchases. Am I choosing this? Or is this just a habit I never bothered to question? Investments they don't understand. Here's the part that genuinely surprised me. I assumed that once you have millions, you start throwing money at every trending investment. Crypto tips, hot stocks, whatever's exploding online this week. Desmond laughed at that idea. He said the fastest way anyone loses money, rich or not, is chasing an investment they don't actually understand, just because someone online promised it would explode. If I can't explain it simply to a 12-year-old, he told me, I don't put my money in it. Rich people aren't smarter about every investment out there. They're just more disciplined about avoiding the ones built on hype instead of substance. A boring, steady return beats an exciting gamble that might wipe you out. What he actually did with his money. I put my fork down at this point and asked him the real question. Okay, so you don't waste money on any of that, but where does it actually go? He smiled like he'd been waiting all night for me to ask. The moment money comes in, a portion of it moves straight into savings and investments automatically before he even sees it sitting in his regular account. If saving depends on willpower, you'll lose eventually, he said. So I made it automatic. I never have to decide to do it, it just happens. Anyone can copy this no matter their income. Even starting with 5%, the habit matters more than the amount at first. Most of his money outside the business sits in simple, low-cost index funds, a way of owning a small piece of hundreds of companies at once, instead of betting everything on one. It's boring, he admitted. There's no exciting story to tell at a party about it, but boring. Done every single month for 20 years, upbeat's exciting almost every time. He compared it to planting a tree. You don't dig it up every week to check the roots. You water it consistently and let time do the work you can't rush. The highest return he ever got wasn't from the stock market at all. It came from investing in his own skills through courses, mentors, and books that directly increased what he could produce and what he could charge. People obsess over cutting expenses, he said, but there's a limit to how low you can cut. There's no limit to how much you can learn and earn. Relying on a single paycheck always felt fragile to him, even when that paycheck was large. Over time, he built a second income stream, then a third, not by working 3 jobs, but by turning skills and assets he already had into things that could earn on their own. His business, some rental income, dividends from his investments. Rich people don't necessarily work harder, he said. They just have more rivers flowing into the same lake. He also mentioned, almost as a side note, that the friends he kept closest after getting money weren't the ones spending the most. They were the ones asking good questions about saving and building things that last. You become like the people you spend the most time with, he said. That's true for money too. And the last thing he said sat with me the longest. Almost nobody gets rich quickly, no matter what the internet shows you. What actually happens is small, boring decisions, repeated for 10 or 20 years, that quietly compound into something enormous. The tree looks like nothing is happening for the first 5 years, he said. Then suddenly it's tall enough to give shade to your whole yard. People only ever see the shade. They never saw the 5 years of nothing. He walked me to my car after dinner. Before I left, he said one more thing that I still think about. People think wealth is about what you buy. It's actually about what you refuse to buy, and where the rest quietly goes instead. I drove home, thinking about my own life, the subscriptions I'd forgotten about. The dinner I paid for last month just to look generous in front of people I barely talk to anymore. The phone upgrade I didn't even need. And also the savings account I hadn't touched in months, just sitting there instead of growing. None of these choices felt big in the moment. But Desmond wasn't broke because of one bad decision. And he isn't rich because of one good one either. It's the pattern repeated for years on both sides, what he avoided and what he built instead, that made the difference. None of what he told me involved a secret formula or an insider trick. It was almost boring. Spend less on show. Let your lifestyle grow slower than your income. Stop competing with people you don't even like. Question your small habit. Only invest in what you understand. And then pay yourself first, invest consistently, grow your own skills, build more than one income stream, and give it time. Boring, repeated for years. That's the real formula. So here's my question for you. Out of everything Desmond told me, which one hit you the hardest? Was it the lifestyle upgrade trap, the silent competition with people you barely think about anymore, or the idea of paying yourself first before anything else touches your account? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.